Good evening and welcome to The Proof is Out There. Last year, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence issued a much-discussed report claiming that the U.S. military has documented 144 cases of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. Since then, the UFO community has been searching for documentation of others. And maybe, just maybe, they found some. It's November 23rd, 2019. Not far from the southern border between Arizona and Mexico, Department of Homeland Security agents are flying an RC-26 surveillance aircraft on the hunt for drug smugglers, when suddenly their infrared cameras capture this. Let's zoom in for a closer look. The strange object has a solid body that tapers at one end with what looks like a smaller circle above the other end. Its odd shape has an uncanny resemblance to everyone's favorite bath toy, and instantly becomes known as the rubber duck UFO. In September 2021, UFO investigator Andy Marshall receives the footage from a secret source at the Department of Homeland Security.
When I opened it, I realized, wow, this is like a leak of all leaks. I've seen many drones, I've seen balloon footage. This is what I do for a living. I do my due diligence, and I believe it's a legitimate UAP or UFO.
Journalist MJ Benaya says the video took everyone by surprise when it first landed online.
It is shaped like a rubber duck. This is definitely bizarre, but using the information on screen, we can deduce it seems to be around 6 feet in length. So it's quite a small object.
The video shows the rubber duck flying for nearly an hour, and because the footage comes from an official federal agency, Benaya says the UFO community is taking this rubber duck very seriously.
What's different about this video is the other videos that the United States government has released concerning unidentified aerial phenomena is its length. It's much easier to pull data out of an hour-long video to figure out what we're looking at versus a very short video, for example, in the Tic Tac UFO video.
But while no one knows yet what the rubber duck is, what we do know is that this footage was not meant for the public to see. There's another thing that distinguishes this government UFO video from all the other headline-making incidents of the recent past. Those military encounters all took place over water and were observed by Navy planes or warships. This takes place over land, on the border no less. So does this signal a new wave of UFOs interacting with the government? We're going to turn this over to our experts to see if this rubber duck UFO is all it's cracked up to be. First, we asked Rich Hoffman of the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies to examine the footage.
But one of the things we're finding out about UFO study is that basically shape doesn't really seem to matter much. We've had objects that are discs, some are triangles, some are cigar shaped, cylindrical.
But while UFO shapes can be different, Hoffman notes that what typically defines a UFO are common behavioral characteristics, including hypersonic speed, cloaking, and transmedium travel.
This one didn't seem to make any pronounced types of speed changes that we would say instantaneous acceleration. It didn't stop in the air and hover. It didn't do the things that you might typically see in a lot of UFO cases.
So if the rubber duck is a conventional object, could it be an airplane? Hoffman says the shape of the object and the thermal nature of the camera offer clues.
The temperature of the aircraft would not be the solid white that you see on that image. You would see the variations in terms of color. And in fact, in the very beginning of the video, you could see where the heat is maybe coming out of an exhaust part of that engine. And that's what it would have looked like.
If a conventional aircraft is off the table, could it be another kind of machine? We take that question to aviation expert Tim McMillan.
We know there's a lot of drone traffic that comes across the southern border in the United States, particularly with drug trafficking, some type of illegal substance that's being attached to a larger drone above it.
The cheap cost and low skill level needed to operate makes drones a common tool used by cartel members to move drugs across the border.
We should be able to see the characteristics of a drone. If this is a quadcopter drone, we should see those rotors spinning. We never see that. Based on just the totality of the factors, I don't have a good answer.
Next, we ask science writer Mick West to take a look.
We can use the data from this plane to measure how far it goes over the course of the video. It actually only moves about 8 to 10 miles over the course of the entire 20-30 minutes that it's tracking the object. It seemed like it was moving 120 miles per hour. But since it only moves around 8 miles in like 30 minutes, That really means it's moving less than 20 miles per hour, which is not much faster than normal wind speed. So we know that this object probably isn't moving very fast at all. It doesn't change direction. It doesn't seem to change altitude. It's flying in a straight line.
Mick adds up all these individual factors and arrives at a hypothesis.
One possibility is this rubber duck shape is actually a bunch of balloons, where some of them are at the bottom of the body, and then the upper one is the head. It might just be some party somewhere. They just blew in the wind, and this is what we ended up with. So I think it's probably not some kind of alien spaceship.
Ultimately, the video ends with the rubber duck still flying, leaving Mick to admit that his theory is just that, a theory.
We don't know how this story ends. All we have is this section of the video. We don't know what happens after that. So there's still a mystery as to what happened after this video.
Our verdict? Well, Mick's analysis of the balloon hypothesis has merit. The video doesn't give us a clear enough image to make that call with confidence. Whatever the image is, we know Border Patrol agents filmed it until their time in the air came to an end. They probably wouldn't have done that for something commonplace. So we're gonna call this a genuine UFO for now, until it's properly identified. Meanwhile, if any other citizen journalists out there come in contact with more official government footage of unidentified objects, please send it to us for analysis.